it feels ready to go up against legacy luxury brands. Last year in Singapore, BYD took top spot in sales in authorized vehicles, and part of that was owed to the BYD Seal. People wanted a sexy sports sedan, and BYD delivered. But today, with crossovers being all the rage, what if the Seal was sold in crossover fashion? Today we have the answer to just that. This is the BYD Sealion 7 crossover, and how much further can this car take them from the top spot? Let's find out. Today's episode is brought to you by Sgcarmart Smart Loan.
Sgcarmart Smart Loan is designed to save you time and money through a digitalized loan application via MyInfo for your used car purchase at below market interest rates. For a limited time only, get $500 cashback and a 6 months Kinto membership worth $1,200 when you apply for a loan today.
To find out how much you can save when buying a used personal or private hired car, click on the link in the description below now. Let's find out more about this car. Now, starting off in front, you get elements of the BYD Seal, this time morphed into its crossover body. You get a very downward sloping curve right here at the headlights, two bulging power domes right here. You also get its curved daytime running light, kind of like a claw up here inside the Sealion 7, overall presenting a very aggressive front look with all these slant angles along with these plastic bits here and the diffuser, really giving it a very aggressive look. And this, being the performance trim with its dual motors and 523 brake horsepower, is plenty aggressive, beaming down the road from your rear view mirror. Now over by the side, you get massive 20-inch wheels on this performance trim with those red brake calipers, giving it a little bit more of that sporty accent with plastic mud guards all around. Over by the side, you'll notice that it's not that tall. It only comes in at 1.6 meters tall, but 4.8 meters long and 1.9 meters wide, giving you plenty of space on the inside for this SUV, but also a SUV coupe form factor for that coolness of the car. Now down here you get fold away door handles, but there are no proximity sensors, so you don't get proximity lock and unlock. And when I open the door, you'll actually notice that the size of the door is really quite wide. So for those living in those older car parks, getting in and out is gonna be a little bit of a squeeze because just the size and heft of this door. Now just listen to the way the door closes. It gives a very satisfying thump. Now, following the curve of this coupe SUV right here, you get a very nice large spoiler blending in with the body of the car, breaking that coupe SUV shape. And down here, you get your charge port that takes up to 150 kilowatt DC fast charging. Now let's check out the rear. Now moving to the rear, from these hulking side arches, it really gives it a very dominant demeanor. Add to that the rear spoiler right here, a second duckbill spoiler, and a very BYD signature uniform line across the rear gives it a very nice touch. These water droplets on your brake lights also come from the BYD Seal right here, BYD Sealion 7, 4.5 seconds, telling you it's a performance trim, like the 3.8 seconds on the Seal Performance. Right here, BYD logo embedded inside the metal, rather large, but it sits nicely inside here. EV all-wheel drive, because this is dual motor all-wheel drive, and open up the power tailgate to 500 liters worth of boot space inside this coupe SUV, and it opens to a very large aperture, so throwing things in is going to be very easy. As you can see, luggage, anti-trolley length test, no problem at all. Over by the rear, you're going to get DIN audio speakers as well as a subwoofer, giving you that crystal clear audio experience. And if you need a deeper boot floor, you can access it with this dual level boot floor system. So open this up for a deeper boot space and also a tire repair kit down below. Now, if you're looking for more utility, you can knock down the rear 60/40 folding seats right here, but because it is rather deep in, it's going to be quite a bit of a stretch. There is one hook right here to hook your groceries and a little bit of netting to stop things from rolling about. Now let's check out the rear.
The BYD Sealion 7 Electric is priced from $207,000 to $232,000. The dual electric motors produce 523 brake horsepower and 690 Newton meters of torque. The single-speed transmission brings the car from 0 to 100 km per hour in 4.5 seconds. The 82.5 kilowatt-hour battery has a drive range of 460 kilometers. The car has a claimed energy consumption of 4.7 kilometers per kilowatt-hour. For more details on the BYD Sealion 7 or any other car, head on to sgcarmart.com to help you make the smart choice on your next car.
Now, over by the rear of the BYD Sealion 7, I have to say it feels deceptive. Because on the outside, under at a 1.6 meter height, you kind of feel like there might not be that much space inside. As well as it being a full EV, the batteries are supposed to be down below, but it doesn't feel like the floor is that high up at all. Over here, just check out the amount of space I have here, especially if I'm leaning back. I'm 1.75 meters tall. Well, my head is kind of near this kind of concave, but extended the headspace by a panoramic moonroof. It doesn't open. You get magazine holders right here. The space is just massive for a car that doesn't look that massive. And if you look at the door handles, they are kind of like the way they open inside the BYD Atto 3. But I have to say the Atto 3's door handles, a lot of people found them, number one, rather confusing because it wasn't intuitive. The first time you look at it, how do you open the door? I fetched so many people inside the Atto 3 and they're always very confused by that. Number two, some people wanted something more conventional, and I think this is a really good in-between. It's very intuitive when you look at it by this line right here. It tells you that this is the handle, and this serves very nicely as a door handle. So when you open and close the door, it's very functional. And then you get DIN audio speaker right here. This black trimmings along with this silver part, it really gives a nice contrast to the cabin. In addition to this ambient lighting right here, you get your window controls, DIN audio speakers, and then quilted Napa leather on the inside, which is very, very comfortable. The angle that you're leaning, it really does feel like a lounge. And in addition to the DIN audio sound system, when you're playing music, it feels great. Now the center is there are rear-facing aircon and hideaway USB charging. So USB-A and USB-C. If there's nobody in the middle, you can pull down this armrest to relax a little bit more. There are hideaway cup holders and a little bit more hiding space right here, but there is no ski hatch access. Okay, so now if there's 5 people in the car and you want to move on over to the middle, it is extremely easy because of this room, like flat floor, no obstacle. Just check out the amount of space you can stretch out in here. This is a very comfortable place to be in. Now, let's check out the front. Over by the front of the Sealion 7 space, things feel very familiar. You get your very standard BYD controls right here, but the screen is a lot bigger this time, very beautifully melded inside your dashboard. I like the way it looks, and I like the customizability that I get to see an entire map in addition to all my instruments, my speed and status of the car charge, so on and so forth. And there's also a very large heads-up display right here that I can see not only my speed, but I can also see my ADAS information, road speed limit, as well as navigation that's tied to my Android Auto. You also get a very large rotating infotainment display, which is kind of the standard for BYD, right? And then you can lock on your left and right camera blind spots right here, which is very, very useful. However, I think one improvement that can be made would be for it to be right here in the instrument panel, kind of like how the Koreans do it. But this is still nice to have. Nonetheless, it is an Android-based operating system, so you can pull down very easily to get all your quick access information, heads-up display, driver monitoring system, ventilated seat. Another thing I like is this locked bar right here. All your one-touch access systems are right here, very easily accessed. There's a good mix of still buttons and stalks all around the car, so a little bit more on that later. The finish on these buttons are also very nice. I like this new BYD steering wheel. I think it looks really good, like this smoked gloss metal gives it a very nice feel. Wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay right here, very easy to access all of what you need. Wireless chargers, 150 watt with active cooling, and another one where you can place your NFC card. So instead of bringing around a car key, you can just use your card and place it right here. 2 aircon vents right here, another 2 at the side. Another thing that I don't really like is this kind of design right here. I kind of feel like, I get that it shows a little bit of ambient lighting through, but this static design I kind of feel just not something that I would prefer. The ambient lighting is very nice coming through right here. You also get a physical opening for your glove box, auto dimming rear view mirror. Your vanity mirror comes with a very nice kind of pull down like this, and then the light turns on automatically. It is a very nice kind of way to do it. And then you get controls to your panoramic moonroof right here. One touch is all it takes, but it doesn't open up like a sunroof. And then moving down here, you get your standard BYD controls. So your drive mode, regenerative braking, media controls, hazard light, brake auto hold, so on and so forth. 2 cup holders right here that's big enough for this tumbler as well as this coffee cup. And it is a variable level. So whether it's a short cup like this, or if you want it to be further down below, you can just simply push it and it sinks further down. And if you want to reset it, you can just push on this and it goes back up to height. So it's a very, very useful space. Speaking about space, if you need even more storage space, there is a floating console, floating storage space right here with 12 volt and an additional USB-A and USB-C fast charging. And if you need even more storage space, the center console goes down very deeply because after all, this is an EV platform, so there's plenty of space to play with. Now, that being said, with all its trimmings inside here, does this car drive as well as it looks? Only one way to find out. So, driving the BYD Sealion 7 Performance, what does it feel like? Well, it feels plush, it feels premium. You step inside and it's an insulated cabin, very cozy, very dark. So, typically when you're comparing it to its best seller, the Atto 3, this feels like definitely a step up. It's a lot closer to the Seal, but I also like that there are quite a lot of things that are different right here. Number one is the steering wheel. It really fits the whole sort of cabin. It gives you this cozy vibe. And right now you don't hear it, but the sound system on the inside is top notch. It's one of those cars that make you feel like you just want to lounge inside and just, because the music is that crisp and crystal clear, it just makes you want to just relax inside this. And add to that, the ambient lighting system, the Napa leather material all around, the darkness of the cabin, the ambient lighting it up. It really does put together a very cohesive feeling inside this car. And add to that typically in an ICE vehicle, I hate running the engine. If I'm not driving somewhere, I don't like to run it just for the aircon, even though sometimes I have to. But inside an EV, you get none of those worries. So it really is just a mobile relaxation lounge with ventilated seats, a giant screen right here. And talking about screens, this is a big step up from something, again, like the Atto 3, where it was a little bit more, it's very functional. You have a screen on your steering rack, so no matter how you adjust your steering wheel, you're still gonna be able to see it. But this time they've gotten a little bit more conventional, so your conventional car lovers would appreciate it a lot more. And they've embedded the screen inside this panel right here, and it looks very, very seamless, flush right into the dashboard. And as well as the number of settings that you can turn on inside the screen right here, I've right now got it set up on Navigation Max, which shows me a huge display of the map around me right now, in addition to my navigation from my Android Auto. So I love it when the brands integrate the Android Auto navigation into their own system, because sometimes if you're not using the brand's navigation system, if you're on Android Auto but you go over to their maps, you won't be able to see your journey depicted there. But this time it's integrated seamlessly. Right here, I got my Android Auto, and then over here in their maps system, it shows me the way. Overall, this BYD Sealion 7 really is kitted pretty well. It kind of feels like they're really listening to the market in wherever they're selling in the global market, and they're bringing in all these changes that the consumers want. And I have to say, I am impressed with the car so far. And yeah, I've always said BYD cars, when they brought in great value, when they brought in a great product, they're great cars, right? But this really, they're just stepping the game up again and again. I have to say that at first I was kind of a little bit apprehensive, because I felt like, well, it is a different segment from the Atto 3. Why bother, right? Because the Atto 3 is already selling so well. But after having stepped in and sat and driven inside this Sealion 7, I don't question that anymore. It's very clear the segment that this provides, the niche that it's targeting is a whole total different niche, and it almost feels ready, save for a few minor tweaks in UI, I would say, and design. On the exterior, the interior, the feel of the cabin, the drive, the amount of power, the amount of features they put inside, it feels ready to go up against legacy luxury brands. This reminds me of driving something that costs twice or thrice the price of this car. Now, in terms of power, this car has some dual electric motors. This is the performance variant. They come in two trims, premium single motor rear-wheel drive and performance dual motor all-wheel drive, this has some 523 brake horsepower, 690 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 4.5 seconds. And while that may be pretty impressive, right? To me, the more impressive thing is its price. This is priced at some $230,000. In terms of price, it's going up against ID.5 GTX, high-tech HT, but the price is also undercutting them. Xpeng G6 long range is about cheaper by about $20,000. Another elephant in the room that I have to bring up, it is the biggest, probably the biggest competitor to this model. After all, the different models in the market, there's a lot of competition, but I think the closest one that definitely people will be comparing is the Tesla Model Y, newly facelifted Tesla Model Y. It looks better, it has that light bar. Perhaps some people feel a little bit different. I think it looks better. It's got a lot more features. It's got a lot of over-the-air updates. And in terms of numbers, in terms of powers, it is probably the closest model to go up against this BYD Sealion 7. Currently, they do have the long range as well as the rear-wheel drive, single motor. And in terms of price, they are quite competitive with this BYD. But I have to say, I haven't tested the new Tesla Model Y yet. But inside this, the BYD is definitely going to be the more conventional car kind of feel, while the Tesla Model Y, of course, a little bit more contemporary. But this is the performance with some 500 plus brake horsepower, while most of the other cars are usually at about some 300 plus brake horsepower. So, and kind of like the Seal performance, while that 3.8 seconds on the Seal performance and its low-slung sedan body style really does some magic into the way it inspires you to drive, to tackle the corners. It's a little bit different inside this Sealion 7. You're seated in a higher position. It feels like you're just cruising along while you've got this massive bank of power and speed to tap on. When you do want to, you can fly off the line, but for the most part, you can drive it in eco mode. It's still going to be very comfortable. Here's one thing I have to say about the handling though. It is rather soft after all. It's not like a super performance car where it's tough and it's hard. It is a little bit soft, and because of its SUV body style, if you do floor it a lot, it tends to pitch and raise quite a little bit. But even within the menus, there are settings to help mild that out, whether you're parking or whether you're driving. So I think they recognize that this is kind of what people want. Of course, they want something that's affordable, but they also want something with a lot of power. So without these settings, you're just going to be pitching and rolling all along the way, but this is a really nice option to have. So, is the BYD Sealion 7 a will buy, won't buy, or go try? Well, if you ask me, I think it has to be a will buy. Because for all that's said and done, this Sealion 7 really does pack a lot of things into this package. And this is coming from someone, when it first launched, I was curious about the Sealion, but I was wondering if it's a little bit cannibalizing into its Atto 3 market. But once you step inside, and once you sit inside this BYD Sealion 7, you'll learn that it's just a whole total different product. And I get it. And it's still very competitively priced. When they launched it, they intended to keep it under $200,000. When they launched it at the motor show, it was a little bit above $200,000 because the COE went up. But I was there at the showroom when they soft launched it, and I saw the prices below $200,000 for the premium variant. And speaking about that, I have to say, performance variant gives you a very good price with very good features. It's still a will buy, especially when you're putting it up against its competitors that, number one, don't have that much power, number two, are also more expensive. For me, both trims are a will buy, but of course, if it's up to me, definitely I would go for the premium trim, because you're still going to get a lot of these features. You're still going to get a lot of power inside the car. It's comparative to a lot of the other mid-size SUV electric models on the market, and it's still getting some very healthy brake horsepower with a lot more palatable tax. This road tax is going for some $6,000 a year, while the premium trim will get you somewhere about 2.2K a year. Still, 0 to 100 in under 7 seconds. It's plenty enough. This is a treat. But that is the more sensible option. And that's why both cars, for me, will be a will buy. So that's it. That's our review of this BYD Sealion 7. What do you think? Do you agree with us? Did you disagree with us? Let us know down in the comments below, as well as any other car that you'd like to see us try out. Do leave it in the comments and we'll read every single one of these. Now, if you've made it this far, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our future uploads. And lastly, do follow us on TikTok for the fun stuff. We are at Sgcarmart. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. So, driving the BYD Sealion 7, what does it feel like? Well, this is the performance variant with some dual motors, some 500 plus brake horsepower, and I don't remember how much Newton meters of torque. Stepping the game up again and again. One more thing I wanted to say. See you